A fun way to introduce the concept of molarity, which is capital M now as you introduce this concept. Capital M for molarity is to use packets of hot cocoa or packets of hot cider mix. In this little video, we're going to go ahead and use the hot cocoa mix. So we'll move these out of the way. And what we do is, if you take a look at the packets themselves or on the box, in this case, on the brand we have, it says that each pouch or the whole box contains packets that are, each packet weighs 28.4 grams. And so then what we can say then is that one packet contains 1 mole of the hot cocoa powder. And then based upon what the numbers here on the box say, we can, on the outside of our packet, we can write that we have 1 mole in the packet. So I'm going to write 1 mole here on my packet. Okay, so then each student will have a packet of the hot cocoa mix, and then the formula weight then, or the molar mass of the hot chocolate, then based upon what the box says, is 28.4 grams. And so if you want to, you can go ahead and have your students write that on the packet too. 28.4 grams of hot chocolate. Now, based upon your introduction of the compound molarity, you know that molarity is when you, or 1 molar solution is when you take 1 mole of the compound and mix into 1 liter of the solvent. In this case, it's the hot water that you would use to make the hot chocolate with. In this demonstration, we're going to go ahead and use these styrofoam cups, and on each cup you can have your student write 1 liter or 1,000 milliliters, and here you can emphasize that there are 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter of the solvent. And you probably want to make sure that the students understand that these cups don't actually hold 1 whole liter. If you have access to some lab equipment that shows a liter, or if you have some pop bottles that indicate 1 whole liter, those are useful to have. However, in this demo, we can just go ahead and say that this cup represents 1 liter of the solvent. And then so you can have your students go ahead and heat their water, and then prepare the drink mix and pour it into their cup. And we've got one prepared here. So once they've prepared their solution of their hot chocolate, we can then say we have a 1 molar solution of the hot chocolate. Now, to further the demonstration, if they use 1 packet, they made the 1 molar solution. If they were to put in 2 packets, if we got out a second packet and pour that one in also, then we'd have a 2 molar solution. And likewise, if you went 3 and 4, or even if you went the other way, if you said, well, I'm only going to put in half a mole or half a packet of our hot chocolate mix, then we would have a 0.5 molar solution. So this works well to introduce the idea of molarity. If you want to go a step further, I don't have labware here with me, but a quart fruit jar. Quart is just a little more than 1 liter, and so fruit jars are a little easier to come by. And so we're going to go ahead and say that this fruit jar, and I've got it just about filled up, is equal to 1 liter of our solvent, in this case water. And so I'm going to ask my students to prepare a 1 molar solution of salt water here. And so the first thing that they'd have to realize is, what is salt, and I think in the past we've already talked about that salt is indeed sodium chloride. So the first step would be to write the formula for sodium chloride, which would be Na plus 1 Cl minus 1, and take one of each. And so you have sodium chloride, and then you do a molar mass. And calculating the molar mass, your student should be able to tell you that 1 mole of sodium chloride weighs 58 grams. And if you're not sure about this calculation, go back earlier in the text and find the lesson there on formula weights and review that. So 1 mole of salt would weigh 58 grams. If you have a scale handy, then what you would do is take your salt and weigh out 58 grams. And if this is 1 liter of solution here, you take those 58 grams and mix it into your 1 liter of solvent, the water in this case, stir it up, and then you'd have a 1 molar mass. And just like what we did with the hot chocolate earlier, you can ask your students to say, okay, now we've made a 1 molar mass, how would you make a 2 molar mass? And they should be able to tell you, well, you take 2 times the 58 grams that make up 1 mole of sodium chloride. So 58 plus 58 is 116, and therefore they would weigh out 116 grams mixed into the 1 liter of water, and therefore have a 2 molar mass. Using this idea of the hot chocolate or drink mixes, it's an easy, fun way to introduce the idea of molarity, which is a capital M. You might probably want to emphasize that. Molarity is an uppercase M for your students.